It's live. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, there was a little bit
Okay,
of lag there
everything's
because
good.
I still had the YouTube video open and
Mhm.
it was playing it back and forth.
Gotcha.
Confusing. But yeah. Well,
Mhm.
this is my first live stream, so take it
But
away,
yeah,
Noah. You know what to do.
dude, here we are. I'll give you a little intro first. This is at I'm John Lacey. This is a man of very different things. He does a lot of different stuff out there. He's into NFTs. He's aware of gaming NFTs, some of their potential. We're just going to talk about various things today. Neither of us are geniuses, nor are we trying to be. We're just really documenting our journey and kind of just our perspectives on things. And that's why we're doing this little live stream podcast thing here today. But yeah, anything you want to talk about first, or what does GameStop and NFTs kind of mean to you? Like to start out.
Well, yeah, I know you're a big believer in
Mhm,
GameStop. So of course, I mean, we've grown up together. I used
mhm,
to go there all the time to go buy video games. I think my couple of my PlayStations are from GameStop. So I've
mhm,
been a big fan of the brand for a very long time, as most people are. So just as you're a huge believer, I believe in the brand
mhm.
so much. Just the
Nice.
nostalgia it has with people is just
Facts.
unbelievable. Which like
Mhm,
really like in any business, any stock investment, whatever, if you
mhm.
have a big supporting following it, you could take it to any branch, any
Yeah,
direction, and the loyal fans, they're gonna go
mhm.
wherever it goes just because they have the years,
The
the
name.
decades of
Mhm.
yeah, having the name around and the good customer service. Except the
Exactly,
one
yeah.
thing about GME is
Mhm.
you give them a game and they give you like 10 cents for it. You know?
Yeah, I guess that's not, their strongest segment. Maybe we could,
No,
hit up their investor relations and be like, "Hey, I think this is a aspect of things we gotta change maybe." But,
exactly.
no, I think you brought up some great points there that especially number 1, the passion behind the brand is really something big that drives, like, individuals holding stock, also shop the company, and you also brought up another great point that doesn't matter what GameStop kinda pivot towards, you have at least a large group of people that are gonna at least see what it's about, give it a try. Hence, like Web3 games, for example, anything at GameStop's launching, any NFT themselves they're creating, which by the way are actually creating some. I don't know if I had
I did
mentioned that
not.
to you yet, but basically anything they do, you're right. People like myself are going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to take the time to check this out simply because it's GameStop. And I think any other company would kill for that kind of following. The only like remotely similar thing I'd say is like Tesla. But besides that, I
Mhm.
really don't think there's any brand that has just this much passion behind it. And the coolest part to me is that I think the biggest is yet to come, and that's in the Web3 and games. And really, I believe GameStop's going to focus on like digital collectibles. I kind of like to say that instead of
Mhm.
NFTs because I really feel like it'll be the gaming side of NFTs and actual like utility. You can actually own your assets. It doesn't have to be like a skin in a game or like a weapons skin, right? Like Fortnite or whatever
Yeah.
game, where it's like, oh, you lose the game or something like, or your PlayStation breaks, whatever, or you lose your account, it's gone. It's all gone, right? Everything you did, like
Mhm.
instead of being able to actually like own the assets, and GameStop enabling that is really cool. And how I had mentioned they're creating their own digital collectibles. Like for example, they have a game like I forgot exactly what it's called, but with the character Buck Bunny, and it's like a 2D game, like a simple like jumping game, like super
Mhm.
simple, right? And then you were able to buy like Buck NFTs like of the actual like character, and then you could play it in that game, and then another game on the platform, Kiraverse, you could also play on there as like a 3D
Using the
version.
same character, the same
Exactly,
digital
jumping from
asset,
game
yeah.
to game in like a 2D to a 3D type of deal, which I thought was really exciting. And like that's one
Mhm.
very small, simple example, but that's where I see like the grand scheme of things kind of go. Not scheme because it's not like
Definitely.
you know what I mean. It's not a
No,
pyramid scheme
yeah, the
or
grand
something like
plan.
that. But yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying here.
Yeah,
So.
well, when you first started mentioning this, I thought about how my coworker, he's like 45, he has a kid who's like 10 years old who
Mhm,
plays Fortnite religiously, and I'm sure you know other people that do this, but this kid has probably, like, spent hundreds, if not thousands of
mhm,
dollars buying these tokens, the V-Bucks and the skins,
mhm,
but he in a little bit of dilemma here because the son own like, he uses the dad's account,
mhm,
but the son doesn't wanna make a new account because he doesn't
mhm.
wanna lose all of his assets that he just spent thousands of
Yeah.
dollars on.
No,
So
that makes
that's
sense, yeah.
yeah, it's like, I wouldn't want to either, but I told the guy, I was like, You just gotta rip off the Band-Aid and just make a new account, like, you can lose
It
the
just
money,
is
I
what it
guess,
is.
but that was my favorite thing about,
Mhm,
NFTs and gaming with it is you can go like in the quote unquote metaverse, different platforms using the same
Mhm.
assets, and you could just go game to game and just do whatever you want. And it will probably incentivize people to pay more money for these things because
Mhm.
instead of having like $100 locked up in Fortnite, you could spend 500, but you can have it in all these other games, the whole
I
global
see what you're
area.
saying. Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
gonna
then those
incentivize
creating these
purchasers.
items can profit off it as well, like through royalties and things of that nature.
Yeah,
So
like that 10% royalty.
yeah, and
But
that's
yeah,
like power to the creators. So
exactly. GameStop, man. Like
yeah.
GameStop is in position in the best place ever to become the dominant player in the gaming industry now.
Mhm.
Or they're like, because I don't think they create like physical like hardware.
Yeah, no,
GameStop's
yeah.
more focused on the software part of all of that,
Yeah, more so
right?
like Web3. Yeah, they're coming up with some like they have a GameStop like keyboard. You can buy some simple stuff like that. And I feel like in
Mm,
the future, maybe they'll do more branded stuff again because we were talking about before, like the passion behind the brand. So I feel like that really, could tie into it. And but generally speaking, definitely more towards like Web3. That's definitely what they're focused on. You're definitely right.
yes.
And let
Web
me ask
three.
you this:
What?
um, having said what you said now about GameStop, did you kind of see this when the NFT marketplace started, or like over time, like what's kind of, I guess, open your eyes more to like, oh damn, like I really see what GameStop's up to. Like it's not just like whatever.
Well, you're the one who
Mhm.
opened my eyes to this,
Well, thank you.
obviously,
I'm honored.
because yeah. I mean, guys, even off camera, this guy raves about GameStop all the time. Like I'm not even joking
I
here.
just love the company. I just love the
Exactly. We
brand.
all
I
love it.
love it
The whole
all.
group. We have a whole group that just loves the company.
It's a vibe.
But Web3 is definitely the future. So if GameStop, they already got into it early, but as you know, these
Mhm,
big corporations take time to do this stuff. It's slow moving
mhm,
gears here. So we're anticipating all this stuff to come, but
mhm,
I'm more excited to wait, like be patient with it. And one by
mhm.
one, they're gonna slowly start pushing out more Web3 development
Yeah.
and start expanding into the whole universe of all of that. Because like they just came out with, well, like the wallet, of course, the GameStop
Mhm.
wallet. And then it took them months before they had the phone version of it, which was a huge component because
Exactly. Yep.
everybody does everything mobile nowadays. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's just
Great
one
point.
piece of the puzzle that just over the next couple of years, the next decades, it's just going to
Mhm,
start forming the company into a beast, like a Best
mhm,
Buy type of deal. I don't know what would you think are some other companies like not competitors to
mhm,
GameStop, but people that follow the same path of like trying to get into the space and the gaming and
mhm.
then owning and stuff like that. I don't even know.
Yeah. No, no, I know what you're saying. Like, who could kind of like fight them in the space, or is just anybody else going after this, so to speak?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, real quick before I answer that, I want to say shout out to everyone here in the chat. Danzo, thank you for being here. Ryan Sung, thank you for being here. Mahari, thank you for being here. Appreciate you all. Everyone smash that like button. Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you do ask,
Mahari, that's why I said Web3 is the future because Mahari, I saw his comment.
oh yeah, on the side there. Yeah, shout out you,
Big
Mahari.
shout out.
All right, but to answer your question, that's the thing. I feel like nobody's really kind of focused on this. Of course, there's some people out there, there's got to be some smaller companies, but
Mhm,
generally speaking, I don't see anybody really going after it the way GameStop is. And you hear about, like MetaMask enables it now where like you can do, I forgot exactly what the partnership they had recently, but basically to like allow more simplicity in Web3 and games. And like all these other wallets or maybe platforms will start enabling it. But I feel like what you were kind of saying before, how GameStop created the wallet, the marketplace, and then they make the wallet on the iPhone and all those different aspects where it's all easily accessible. I feel like GameStop's doing the infrastructure in a way that surrounds the gaming and makes it about the gaming. And a common thing you kind of hear right now from like gamers and NFTs that
mhm,
I feel like they don't quite understand. Like, oh, NFTs, no, 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 ooh, that stuff's
mhm.
stupid. You know what I mean? Like, or just the
Monkeys.
name is such a kind of negative connotation, right? Where they're like, oh, NFTs, don't put that
Yeah,
in
yeah.
games. It's gonna ruin them. Oh, I would never play a game with NFTs. But it's like, if you just like the game anyway, and it just meant you could own your own assets, and if you just thought of it like that without those three letters, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I just feel like
Exactly.
no other platform or even like just people in general aren't seeing it like that. And they'll all try to enable it, but GameStop will have like the overall like circle for it, if that kind of
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, are
So
you
I guess in
saying
short, oh, go
like
ahead.
you're trying to like I forgot the analogy, but it's like buy the companies that build like the picks and the shovels, not the company that does
Mhm.
something else. Like
Yeah, no,
what's
no, I
that
know what you're
reference?
saying. Instead of like that mines the diamonds, like sells
Yeah,
them the
instead of
picks and the
you
shovel.
actually mining it, sell the product that people are gonna use to do it.
I
which is what
guess in a
GameStop is
sense,
doing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because they're kind of just creating the infrastructure to allow individuals like me and you to be able to go on, create our own collection, like create our own game. Like obviously for me, like I don't know how to create a game, but
yeah,
I know
me
you have
neither.
your own little NFT collection. If you want to like give a quick pitch here, what's that all about?
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I have John Prosper. That's I wrote a couple of books about like self-development, financial literacy, stuff like that. So, and then I started realizing like this is the modern era. As much as I hate it, just people don't like reading books. I got all these books
Hmm.
here.
But it's
Even
documenting, that's part of it.
of course, well, once it took
Hmm.
me 18 years before I realized like books, that's the hidden key. Like it's people's minds put
Hmm.
into writing. Like you can read their entire life, their memories, which like
Hmm.
that's how I got like on the book bug in 2018.
Hmm.
So but anyway, I wrote the book. I don't know where it is. I organized my whole thing.
No, you're
But
good.
but then I realized like people don't read the books. So then I thought, what's the next best thing I could do? And as a designer myself, I started thinking,
Hmm.
what if I created my own visual digital assets that represent the writing in the book?
Hmm.
So that's why I created John Prosper. Obviously, my name is John,
Hmm.
but like Prosper. So the I don't know if you even know this, Noah, but so
Hmm.
John Prosper originates from a French word, les gens prospères, which
Oh
means
yeah, yeah. You did tell me that.
successful people in French, but
Hmm.
it's Gen prosper, but it's
Hmm.
pronounced John. And obviously, my name is John. I'm John
Hmm.
Lacey, so it all worked out perfect. So then I just created like all these like the cards and everything, which is
Hmm.
this is actually a good segment into the gaming and NFTs because
Hmm.
my NFTs are the actual like cards for a deck of cards. And I
Hmm.
just did this last week, a little sneak peek. I created the
Nice.
Track to Success board game. So Noah, you actually gave me this
Mhm,
idea here. Originally, it's just like a piece of paper because I work at the print shop, so I figured it's all free. I could just print whatever I want.
mhm. Yeah.
But then I started thinking the blockchain NFTs, I can make the game as a part of a Web3 asset, and we could play the game
Mhm.
together on the blockchain. And that's the
Yeah,
best part
that'd
of the
be awesome.
blockchain is it all just you could
Mhm,
track the steps back, looping the entire track. Like yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all of that. So
mhm.
that's kind of how
That's
I
awesome.
am doing my own little thing into the gaming
Mhm.
space.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something before about Web3 and GameStop and NFTs, but I totally
Mhm.
forgot. I totally blanked here. But
No,
anyway,
we
just
can we'll try and bring it back.
yeah, yeah. But based off everything I just showed you about the game and everything, what's your thoughts on uh
Mhm.
like
Oh, upside
so
down.
yeah, yeah. Or we could go either way. Because
Oh,
it's
okay, yeah,
originally
no.
it's supposed to be flat, so anyone on the
Yeah,
surface.
yeah, that makes sense, makes sense.
So we were talking about the quote unquote like digital version of NFTs. This
Mhm,
is kind of my way of taking the physical version and combining
mhm.
it with the digital version.
Yeah.
So do you think that GameStop has any future of combining the two, physical and
Mhm.
digital, into something more bigger
Yes.
than what it could turn into?
I'm really glad you brought that up because yeah, what I was actually just about to say, I really like how like part of what you're doing, you're just trying to like make it physically there too. So just kind of it's all there in various ways in like digital and physical form, which in a weird way, I feel like our world now, you just kind of have to have that.
Oh
And
yeah.
what you
We're
were
already
saying, like
strapped on our
mhm,
phones like 8 hours a day.
exactly, yeah. So it's like it's just basically like a part of us. Like when you don't have it, right? You're like, right? Like, don't you feel like, yo, where's the shit? Where's
Hmm.
the shit? Right? Like,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you
Check your
when you
pockets.
misplace it, yeah,
Ooh.
you're like, oh, where is this? Where is this? But yeah, so I really do think GameStop's gonna go physical and digital. Like I've actually been theorizing a little bit. So they're launching something called Gmerica. I don't know if I mentioned that to you in the past.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, so basically how it came about is they filed a patent for it in I believe it was September of 2021 or October of 2021. So a long time ago. And it's just been like kind of delayed, and now it's just like in its final filing stages. So whatever Gmerica is does seem to be coming to fruition. And it says something along the lines of has to do with like clothes, hats, like footwear, kids' toys, like babies, all kinds of like various things that like not necessarily GameStop is like 100% focused on right now. But the idea is it's probably gonna be something digital because there's also an old tweet from GameStop where they tweeted like something Gmerica, and then everyone was like, "What does that mean?" And then someone replied like, "Canadian ape here.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
I'm from Canada, or yeah, Canadian ape here. What does Gmerica mean?" And then GameStop replied, "Our favorite place to game." It's like, what
Oh,
does that mean? So my thought is, what if Gmerica is pulling everything together? It's some kind of like and I say all this all very roughly. So tell me like what you think of it, because you might not be envisioning it the same way I am, and I don't know if anybody is when I've said this on this channel, but
Mhm.
basically, I envision what if G America is like kind of like a metaverse, but also like kind of like a Steam, but also like your character jumps from like game to game, and the games are on the marketplace, or you can actually game in them like through G America, but like you don't necessarily have to go in G America, so to speak, to play these games, but it could be like the hub,
Okay.
like the digital hub sort of.
Like the
But then
server almost.
kind of, yeah, but it's kind of like my idea in general is just gonna tie everything together. And then imagine it was like some kind of metaverse thing, but like you could still like shop on GameStop's actual website. And then what if whatever you bought on GameStop's website, like through there, you get a digital version of that item. Like if I bought this GameStop sweatshirt, my like avatar would like get this
Oh, yeah,
sweatshirt
yeah, yeah,
in digital
yeah.
form, like automatically in Gmail. Like it's
That'd be
like very
cool.
rough. Like there's a lot of like parts to that theory that have to
Yeah,
be
a
like
lot of
smoothed
logical
over.
I forgot, like, what the word is.
Yeah, yeah, but like a bunch of like perspectives and like kind of like I feel like it seems like it's all centering to that, right? Like
Yeah,
and
well,
what you
yeah, that's
said
still, like,
before.
wide out, but
Mhm,
we're slowly expanding, get to that point. Because I saw
mhm,
Nike is trying to do something with that as well, or maybe
mhm.
this was Joe P. This, trying to give
Shout out
his own
JPP
idea.
Investments.
Yeah,
I
JP
told him I gotta get him on here soon. I actually tried to invite him tonight too, but he said he was busy, so it's
He's
all
always
good. Another
busy.
time.
Yeah, he's got a dog, a lot of responsibility walking that dog. He takes him on,
I
like,
think he
2-hour
had more
walks,
going
it's
on.
insane. Dude, but that's what one thing I wanna do with Joe P is even though,
Mhm,
like, he can't, like, talk about too many subjects, the subjects
mhm,
he can talk about, I wanna go on a walk with him, like, this 2-hour walk, and walk around town and, like, hold my camera up, my 360 camera, and, like,
mhm.
film the talk and record it and make a podcast out of it. Like, kind
That
of
could be
kill
dope.
2 birds with 1 stone. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, then get some exercise in at the same time, you mean?
Exactly. Or
There
3
you
birds
go,
with
yeah.
1 stone, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the dog is happy, you're in nature, good for the eyesight. Yo,
Sure,
I
yeah.
just quick little, like actually, this is kind of important while we're talking about this,
Oh, let's go
gaming.
for it.
Health. I don't know if you saw the video that I might have posted it in the group chat about
Mhm.
how everybody all of a sudden is, like, starting to get glasses and contacts, and
Oh, yeah.
people are losing their eyesight, and the main reasons for it is because, 1, we're so close to, like, screens our entire life, or we're, like, 22,
Mhm.
so essentially our entire life, but we're, like, so
Oh, yeah.
focused on things that are, like, 2, 3 feet in front of us that we're not looking in the distance how we used to be throughout the
Mhm.
thousands of years, and then also because we're inside
That
so
does make
much.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, like, when you're on your phone, you're, like, freaking 5 inches away,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
especially like boom, 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 TikTok,
Yeah,
TikTok, short, 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 or whatever it is, right?
exactly, yeah. Yeah, scrolling fucking for
Yeah.
hours. So that could be a thing too, but also we're not going outside as much as a society. We're all inside working on our computers.
Mhm.
Which as much as I love, like GameStop and I grew up with technology, I'm
Mhm.
very concerned for my own health that I'm gonna start losing my eyesight
Yeah.
because
Oh, yeah.
I'm gaming, quote unquote gaming inside like for 8 hours a day.
Mhm.
I'm not getting like, not listening, I'm not getting it, but like the
No, no, I know what you're
sunlight and
saying.
all this stuff.
Mhm.
So while we're talking about GME, they should have like a compliance department or HR or something
Mhm.
that focuses on kind of like the play 360 thing that Michelle Obama did about
Mhm.
incentivizing people to game outside in the real world instead
Mhm.
of like through NFTs or digital collectibles like that. I
Mhm.
think that was just a good idea. I just thought about how we're
No,
just
I
so
know what you're
focused
saying,
on the
just
computers and all this stuff, but
mhm.
we got to focus on our health and keeping it
Yeah.
safe.
No, I see what you're saying. It's kinda their aspect. It could be their aspect of, like, social responsibility, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it wouldn't
exactly.
be like a I don't wanna, like, say, like, a political thing or, like, to check the box they do. It would be like, "Hey,
Or
just remember, like, take care of yourself, like,
yeah, be a
get your head
human
I
thing.
like, play your game for, like, 5 hours and, like, when you're really, really enjoying it, but hey, remember, you can't do that every day all the
Yeah.
time." You know what I mean? Or something like
Or like
that. I
how
know
you
what
were
you're
saying
saying.
with the t-shirts, you buy the t-shirt
Mhm.
in person, you get it in the digital game. What if there was things you have to do in person to then redeem online as a
Mhm.
digital collectible?
That would be an interesting aspect. Yeah, it's like an add-on opportunity, maybe something like
Exactly.
that. Like but I don't know. Like imagine it because Pokemon is supposedly getting
Oh,
into digital NFTs, digital collectibles.
smart. They should, man. They should have been doing this for years now.
Imagine you buy like a Pokemon shirt and then like you go play Pokemon Go. Like if you find like Pikachu or I don't even know
Yeah, you find
something
Pikachu, we'll
like.
say that.
Imagine it could be like I don't know, just the idea that it can tie things together, the blockchain, like it's like a
Man,
digital like weaving, so to speak. Like
yes,
you can use blockchain to do that, and that's how like you can have the same character going like game to game, and it's just crazy that it's so early.
definitely.
It seems so early in like the whole thing.
Yeah. I was thinking about this also. That's a good idea how we're weaving like everything together,
Hmm.
which is essentially that's kind of my idea about like what the metaverse is, even though there's no like
Hmm.
set definition. It's essentially
Hmm.
just the metaverse is the idea of everything weaved together. Like a
Hmm.
big crochet shirt, that would be the metaverse. Because all these
Hmm.
little elements are just weaved together, interlinked via the blockchain. And
Yeah.
then that would just be huge for the entire economy and the infrastructure space and digital and physical assets and just everything. That'd be good.
Hmm.
Uh, Another thing I wanted to bring up was we're talking about how, like, of course, we're like long term GME. We believe in it for many decades to come.
Hmm.
Something that's happening right now in another gaming space, sports cards, is
Hmm.
we kind of had like a downturn, but then all of these kids that like Gary Vaynerchuk, this is who I always relate back to.
Hmm.
When he
Yeah,
was a
I've heard him
kid,
talk about this a little bit.
yeah, he was big into sports cards. But then he grew up. You gain responsibilities. You kind of get away from it. But
Hmm.
now that he's like 45. He has his own kids. He's putting them back onto the sports industry,
Hmm.
which is reviving the entire space. And that's kind
Gotcha.
of like what's going to happen with GME. I think in the future, the next like we're like
Hmm.
22 now. There's some kids our age already having kids. So give it another 5-10 years,
Hmm.
and the entire gaming space is going to get relifted up again because we're going to be telling them about
Yeah.
GME and
No, that
all the
makes
sports
sense.
and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, I think that's going to be freaking crazy. Which is why I'm
Hmm.
long. I'm always a long-term investor because of
Hmm.
the technology that's going to come out in the future is just going to be game changing.
Yeah. No, I definitely like your aspect of investing or like your perspective on it is you're a this guy right here is a big time buy and hodl guy.
Buy
He's
and
like
hodl.
he buys something and then everyone's like, "What are you gonna sell?" And he's like, "Do what?" Like
I'm a
about and
collector,
this guy.
baby. I collect it.
Yeah, he says like just about everything for a while, and like while I've gotten more serious about GameStop, you've already been saying that for a minute, and you were saying that as everything was going up, everything's going down. So like respect to you for doing that, and I definitely see that perspective now, and like a lot of it to me is what I really think is going to happen with GameStop in the long term is they're going to deliver value to shareholders because all the people
Definitely.
running the company are shareholders themselves. So, and they're also being
Hmm.
compensated in shares. And why would you choose to be compensated in shares unless you believe the company was going to be worth more in the future? So, I really feel
Hmm.
like that's just such a major bull factor for GameStop. And then on top of it, what I was kind of saying, like they're going to deliver shareholder value. I think through in the future, like they could do dividends. They could do a special dividend in the form of an NFT potentially or a digital
Hmm.
collectible of some kind. Then they could also start buying back shares just with cash flows as long as they're strong over time and just through their growth. So I really feel like those are shareholder like value drivers. You could also, start to acquire things. They could build more stuff with their brand of GameStop just because the brand name's so strong. They could leverage that
Hmm.
more just
It's
through,
worldwide,
positive free cash flow.
of course.
And they're really just getting back to profitability right now. So I really feel like that can start to drive everything. And I understand it's like, why would you sell if you know the company is run by like the people running the company are also shareholders themselves and
Hmm.
looking to deliver value to shareholders when they're going to give the most value they can,
Hmm.
because they are shareholders themselves. Like it's as simple as that. It's
Exactly.
like, why would you sell it if they're going to just keep delivering value? And to me, that's really what investing is all about. And even if they don't wind up choosing to do dividends, if they start buying back stock aggressively, because of the total amount of individuals just holding the stock, I really feel like that'll start to very much push the price up in the long term. And then again, those other things they could do, they could acquire other companies, they could build more on their brand name. And I feel like that's just really exciting that they have all that kind of just pushing the Web3 aspects forwards.
Oh, definitely. That's the one thing
But
I love about like someone who's dedicated to their like I tweeted about this before actually this afternoon
mhm,
is the people that they're dedicated to their craft. They're not in it per se for the money. They're in it to bring
mhm,
value to the consumers or shareholders or whatever. And
mhm,
because like all the CEOs and the C-suites and all of them, they're they themselves are shareholders. They're trying to
mhm,
build their wealth by building everyone else's wealth around them. So it's just like a
Mhm.
win-win situation of they're gonna do the best that they possibly can to bring as much
Yeah.
value so they can make more money, so everyone else can make more money. And it's just the
Mhm.
domino effect of
Interests aligned, yeah.
back and back forth. Yeah, exactly. The interests are aligned.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's one of those things too, they don't even have to, like, sit in the same room and, like, people say, like this goes, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how I wanna say this, like, that's why I'm stumbling over
Mhm.
my words here. It can go both ways in the sense when interests align in betting against something, right? And, like, such as, like, shorting GameStop and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's interests
Yeah.
align. The people don't necessarily need to be, in my eyes at least, this is my personal opinion, that, like, if me and you were both betting against GameStop, we never even met before, like, our interests are aligned. We don't even have to meet, right? For
Yeah, we
example.
share a common denominator. Yeah.
Exactly. And just the same way, I feel like people running GameStop or, anything in general being built, if interests are aligned, shareholders' interests are aligned with those running it. And, like, maybe that's not the best way to kind of describe this, but
Mhm.
point is, I don't think it necessarily comes down to, like, oh yeah, we all think the same thing. Yes. It's just no. Interests align right here. And if you can kind of, like, make them in align in a way, then, figure a way to harness that power. I don't know if that's, like, does that kind of make
No, it
sense
makes
or
sense. Well,
Mhm,
keep thinking about it and, like, keep forming it in your mind, but I get the general
mhm,
idea of where you're going with it of like, I always think about,
mhm,
like, we're like, everyone's, like, on a spectrum, no matter what the subject matter is.
mhm.
Everyone's on a spectrum on different locations, but the whole spectrum is the same principle. Like,
Mhm.
everyone's has the
Yeah.
same values, they're just all over the different board.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's actually a great way to describe it. Yeah, and I feel like that's definitely, like, a lot of GameStop investors and just in general, like, that's how the board is. And, like, even if, like, we don't know what the board's doing, like, a big, like, kind of, I guess, not complaint or a common thing I see is, like, people like, oh well, or like what people say, like, oh well, they don't issue guidance, right? Or they don't ever say what they're going to do in the future. And it's like it'd be great
Mhm.
to hear about it, but oh, excuse me. Um, but it would be great to hear about that, right? But I think with so many people betting against it and just anything they say gets used against them or they
Mm.
just spin it in a negative light, right? The media or whatever. So I feel like at the end of the day, I can sleep well at night because I'm like, well, I don't know exactly what G America is, and the company's very quiet. And whenever something comes out, it's just like boom, news. There's not like, oh, on this day we're going to release the marketplace. It was just like the marketplace has been released.
Oh, it just
That's how.
happened? Really?
Yeah, or like when they did it, yeah, they didn't have like a release
They just
date. It was
dropped
just
it.
on a random Sunday. Like it's just like it came out,
Mhm.
and I remember
Well,
just checking it out. I'm like, oh, this is dope. So my
that's kind
point.
of the way they should
Mhm.
be doing it, of just drop it, you know? Build
Yes,
the
no,
product, drop
exactly.
it, and then get, like,
Hmm.
the feedback per se.
Exactly. They've been doing that because I feel like they don't have to like say what they're gonna do in the future because one, they do deliver stuff. They don't like let anybody anticipate it, but when it happens, like you're like, oh, okay, that's validation. They've been working on stuff, and then
Mhm.
on top of that, I'm like, okay, well, shareholders are the individuals running the company or the individuals running the company, the board members, they're all having shares, like they have stake in it. So while we might not know exactly what they're doing, what they're kind of planning or just anticipating or shifting the company towards exactly, and we see it over time through the numbers and just things they launch, at the end of the day, I know my interests are very much aligned with them, and they all have like way more shares than me, right? And I mean,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
obviously, it doesn't even come down to the number of shares. It just comes down to the idea that as executives with shares, their interests are aligned. So as long as our interests are aligned, I trust that they would continue. And obviously, I don't blindly trust. I see the evidence through the work that happens over time and the products being
Mhm.
launched
The
and the
executing.
and the numbers. Yeah, exactly. So it's just really crazy too, because again, to kind of circle back to what we said before, the name, and for those of you just joining, smash the like button. And yeah, I just want to circle back because I feel like this was a great point. The name of GameStop was so strong, and that just allows them to try anything, and you can get true user feedback because you don't have to pay people to beta test. GameStop doesn't even really have
Mhm.
to market because that's not really like they haven't really been spending on marketing because that's just not simply going to convert the same way as word of mouth and just
Mhm. Tweeting,
consistent
you know?
customers. Yeah, exactly. And obviously they'll do their own like social media stuff, but that's all, they're relatively free. They're not going to really pay to
Exactly.
advertise.
Yeah.
That's just not the nature of what they do. And to kind of want a little bit of a tangent here, a nature of what they do, right now, Q4 earnings are about to come out next Tuesday, 1 week from now, March
Oh.
21st. So that'll be really exciting. It'll be for the full year of 2022. And considering, GameStop, most of their sales are still e-commerce and retail stores. Most of the sales, obviously, are tied up towards the end of the year. But something I think
Mm-hmm.
that's really exciting as the company shifts into Web3, I feel like their numbers, as Web3 becomes a bigger part of their business and they really use that to grow, or that's what I believe at least. Because
Mm-hmm.
right now, they're just not going to grow just massively with like e-commerce or anything like that. It's going to be Web3 is the big growth driver, and then I think they'll
Definitely.
deliver value to shareholders on the way. But what I'm saying here is if they just focus on Web3 and that is the growth, then I really feel like the sales will kind of round out, or like it's easy for them to have strong positive earnings, or the earnings in general be more balanced. I mean, of course, it'll always be stronger Q3, Q4 with holidays, especially Q4. But I feel like the earnings will generally be more rounded out if more of it's Web3, because Web3, it'd be just the constant transactions of items in games, the digital collectibles that they're essentially like profiting on, like through the
Yeah.
marketplace and things like that. So I feel like it'd really round out the revenue like year round, or it wouldn't be so like, oh, well, Q1, is not going to be profitable because they're just not simply not selling and they're getting a lot of returns or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, they're playing the long game, as we've been saying, is
mhm.
they're not really focused on. Well, I mean, I don't know, I'm not like C-suite, but
Yeah, yeah, no, no, you're
usually
good.
they're like how these companies work is they want to like please the shareholders. So like quarter by quarter, they're trying to make as much money as
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
hopefully, what
exactly.
GameStop is doing is they're sacrificing the micro gains to build
Mhm.
the infrastructure to get the huge macro gains.
Literally, yeah. That's
Hmm.
exactly right. I couldn't agree more. And I feel like that's where all the like people are like, oh, GameStop's a dying company. They're still not
No,
even profitable. I'm like, but they're getting there. Like you
yeah,
don't see it, and like that's
yeah, they're
fine.
building behind the scenes.
But yeah, exactly. And they're doing things like, for example, like about I think it's like 440,000, like that. Look, sorry, 440 million. Completely off. I forgot the exact number though of their like 1 billion in cash that they have is in marketable securities, which means it's in government bonds that are earning like 4 or 5% right now. So
Oh
that's going to
wow.
help their cash flows. They're closing the Kentucky distribution center they have. They announced that I think towards the end of last year, and that's not even done until June. So they've got rid of excess distribution centers. They just have less of them, but they're bigger now. And they also use like retail technology and just a lot of different things that just they simply weren't doing before. And now they have management that's going to assure, they stay profitable while focusing on Web3. So I just think that's like super, super exciting.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about, um,
Hmm.
we're like I don't want to diss on him, but Logan Paul, right? I don't know
Yeah,
if you
no, no,
heard,
you're
but he
good.
came out with the Crypto Zoo game.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
what
CoffeeZilla, he really put him on the
oh,
spotlight right
great
there.
video. Fantastic
Yeah.
series.
I mean, and you deserve to get
He did,
like
yeah.
CoffeeZilla does a great thing. I think he was on Joe Rogan. They had a great
Very
conversation. I
honest.
recommend listening. It's just
I'm
about
gonna check
everything
it out.
going on and like the AI fakes and like how there's gonna be something that comes along that's gonna be even more crazier than new social media than TikTok, even more addicting, like which is just crazy to think. But sorry, go ahead. I totally cut you off there.
I was making a comment.
No,
So
you're good.
what happens was kind of like the whole like a lot of stuff like celebrities per se is
Hmm.
they are like they're trying to sell their product before it's even created. I forgot the name of it. But you know how like
Like
people are
front
like,
running.
yeah, essentially that. This is a different word I was thinking of, but yeah, front running it. But like on the opposite hand, GameStop, they're building behind the scenes, then they're releasing the
Hmm.
product. But like what Logan Paul did, where he really messed up, was he sold the game to everybody before it was even developed. Like nothing was in the
Hmm.
projects yet.
Yeah.
So he kind of like quote unquote scammed everybody out of it because he sold them on the idea that wasn't even built yet. And a couple of comments I
Hmm.
saw that I was like, wow, that's really impactful. Is
Hmm.
they were like, what happened to the good old days where the company built the product, then we paid for it? And I was
Yeah.
like, obviously, like that's the most like basic thing ever, but now it's not basic anymore because everyone's trying to, like money
Get the
scams
next
and
thing, the
yeah,
next big
exactly,
thing,
trying to
the
push
next
it
quick,
quick. But it's
quick,
like
quick, quick. Yeah.
build it, like create the product, like GameStop's doing, create the
Hmm.
wallets, create the game, and then give it to the consumer, and then build like your empire on something that was already created instead of like a fake idea.
Hmm.
Which like I know this is off topic, but kind of like how the
No, you're good.
Silicon Valley Bank happened is
Hmm.
like all any of these banks is they're giving their money away on the idea it's real money. Like it's not even a real
Yeah.
money. It's all like fake leveraged assets.
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah,
it's
basically they
it's
just
just
do
gonna
whatever they
crumble.
want with the customer deposits. Like, oh, $100, great, we'll go. Yeah, yeah, we have your $100. Okay, we're gonna go do this with it.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's like
it's
if they actually
crazy.
had the money, they would just be more efficient. The consumer would be more pleased, the shareholders.
Mhm.
But I mean, that's just how like the
Yeah, it's
system's
just
built
greed.
up.
It's Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
just
man,
straight
all this
greed
game.
in these cases, and also, like I don't know, I don't want to get too tinfoily hat, but like, what do you think about the fact that these three banks in 1 week, Silvergate, Silicon Valley Bank, and Synchrony Bank, all collectively, crypto, like related,
Oof,
they have strong crypto ties. It's like, oh, that's interesting.
very
Seems like
interesting.
somebody maybe want to send a very strong message, but then we
Yeah,
see
yeah.
crypto rallying. So like,
Oh
you know what I
gosh.
mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
that's what
such a
I'm so confused about. Like, I just like the V Friends NFT I got, it's
Mhm.
already up like 20% from when I got it because
Damn,
crypto's been rallying so much. Yeah, I'm like,
dude,
holy
that's
crap, this
crazy.
is insane.
That's
I know.
actually nuts.
Too bad I'm down so much on my GME shares, but I'm
Damn,
hodling.
dude, it's a great time to
It's
buy
all
more.
right.
Not financial advice,
Oh my
just
god,
personally what
I
I think.
wish.
But
I should have been more patient. I kinda loaded up
mm,
when it was at 21, thinking it was gonna go to 23 for a quick little
21, can
little
you do
yeah.
something for me?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, "Drake, please give me the give me some luck here." But then it dropped down to 16, and I'm like, if I
Yeah,
had
yeah.
more money, man, I would be loading up right now because
Mhm.
I can almost guarantee it's gonna go at least up to 18 or 19 again in
I
the
think it's
short
going up
term.
way higher than that. But no,
Oh,
I know what you're
stacking, man.
saying. Like in the short term, maybe, or
Yeah.
like the way it's gonna kind of bounce around. But yo,
Well,
let's
that's
check.
why I'm
Mhm.
hodling. Well, let's see, Jay said right here,
Yeah, let's say we gotta
GameStop is
check
turning
chat.
into a technology company and has a lot of customer branded products and electronics. They have exclusive product brands, of course.
Hmm.
GNet and Atrex are GameStop's products without logo. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah,
so they do
GeekNet and
have
Atrix.
physical
Yep.
products that they're creating.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
So
even know. I'm gonna Google these
yeah,
places right now.
I think personally though, what they should do more is like they should brand it all as GameStop because the brand name's strong. Like I'm not saying throw like a fat logo
Yeah, no,
on it,
no,
but that
minimal.
like black and white logo, like small, like that's sharp to me.
It
Like the
would
black
be.
and white.
It's kind of like more is better, and also they would.
Mhm.
It would probably work in their favor because if they threw a big logo on there, I'm sure some people
Yeah.
would be like outraged, not outraged, but they'd be
Yeah. No, someone's
like
always
this
gonna
is
get mad about
ugly.
something
They're
these
just trying to
days.
like show the brand off. If it was just a little tiny logo, very minimal,
Mhm.
they would everyone would be tweeting about it, be like the respect. They like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
really care more
facts.
about the consumer. The like kind of how Apple does it, the very sleek design. They don't have their logo all over the place.
Yeah,
It says
yeah,
like the Apple on the back and like the name on the bottom.
yeah. Mhm.
But like very clean, minimal designs is gonna be so much bigger. It's
Yeah.
gonna help them in their favor.
Yeah, then
Definitely.
to follow up, like then what Jay said, yeah, then they have the ones with the actual logo on them. Yeah, so I just want to kind of like tie together what I said there. Like they do have those, but I really feel like those other brands, they should just make it all GameStop, honestly. I mean, it's all like embedded and like I also understand, it's just more to have, but I really just feel like putting GameStop on it in every which way possible just helps because of the strength of their brand name. And
Of
then
course.
also to answer Ryan Song's question real quick, when are you going to game up with the viewers? I definitely really want to soon. Thing is, like, I'm just doing this on a Surface laptop, and my PC is literally Windows 7. So, like, I was trying to download like Curaverse. I can't really get any games going because I don't know if you want to play too, John, some like Web3 games. But when I get
Oh,
my
you can play
PC,
Web3 games
yeah,
together?
they're starting to come out. Yeah, if you go on NFT like GameStop, like you go to their NFT marketplace,
Oh,
the games are
shoot.
actually on there. Yeah, and then some of them you have
Exciting.
to download a client. Some of them are like in browser.
Oh,
And some of them are like play to earn also, which is pretty dope. So seeing it all, already starting and like more and more people will do it. But I'm really trying to save towards building a PC. Like that's my next big thing I'm trying to
ooh.
do. And once I have that, I'm gonna game up with the viewers. I want to try a bunch of different games, both Web3, like classic games like Minecraft or League. Or
Mhm.
at some point too, I want to run like I got to do another like lives of Mario Super Bros or like Super Mario Bros or like Sluggers or
The
Mario Kart.
sluggers, yeah. I was gonna say you have the channel that you and your brother
Yeah,
post
yeah,
on, the
Tetra
sluggers,
Unlimited,
yeah.
yeah. Sometimes we post on there, but mostly that's kinda Zach because he's doing, like, all the editing and stuff, so shout out to him. He's always
Yeah,
helping me
'cause
out when I
they
need,
get
like,
views too, which
guidance.
is surprising.
Yeah, no,
It's
I mean,
all
not too
it's
many,
all
but
nostalgia. Well, I mean, like, 100
yeah.
views, like, that's still a lot, man,
No,
like,
I mean, we
100
didn't get
organic
that
views
many.
is insane.
It's
I think
mostly, like,
some
on the
have, like,
shorts.
500.
Oh, yeah, the shorts, yeah,
Some
because
blow up,
he
yeah.
edits them funny, yeah, they're pretty good. If you guys look up Tetra Unlimited, that's the name of that channel about Mario Sluggers, and we just posted, like, my, grandfather's, like, train set. I don't know if I ever showed you, or, like, he
Mm,
built, like, a
I see.
1940s model of, like, it's called HO scale, like, train layout, And
Mhm.
basically it's like 1940s. Like if you look up on Tetra Unlimited right now,
I'm gonna
like if you say like I just not the greatest recording, but I just went around and recorded the whole thing from him, and it's just crazy because he's been working on the thing for years, and it's like he's done like every little thing by hand. Like
ooh,
he's made
meticulous.
like he made some like people, and like he's made like a barn that like there's a party in it, like but it's like super tiny. It's like this, like and it's like the people are very slow. Like it's crazy, like the attention to detail and like the like electric wiring or whatever you call it is just nuts.
Yeah,
But
well, the collectibles, like we were saying, all these different
mhm,
generations, they all have their own little niche subjects that they're like so
mhm,
skilled about because they spent years and years, decades building these, like the train sets, or they're building
mhm,
the sports cards and all this stuff. And that's what's gonna happen with
mhm,
our generations is we're gonna have all these digital collectibles to archive our
mhm.
history, our past.
Yeah,
Like how Jay's saying here with
yeah. I was gonna
like
say.
music, movies, and all that stuff, products.
Mhm,
I've been telling Derek DC Millions, our rapper friend, he's
mhm.
got to start posting more on his music as digital assets. And
Yeah,
even if
why
he
not?
doesn't like give royalties right now, because that's like
Yeah,
I
just
guess the
send it out
ultimate
to
plan.
people. Yeah, just to
Exactly, just send it.
get your name out there.
And that's what I want to do with movies too, because I'm also into like cinematography.
Mhm,
I had this idea of like you could upload like scenes of the movie on the blockchain. And then you can, instead of owning like the entire movie, you could just
mhm.
rent out the entire movie, but own specific clips that you think are like the funniest parts. Like you know
That'd be
how on YouTube
interesting.
you
Yeah,
could
like
watch
a
like
right to
little
it or
scenes?
something.
Yeah. And then maybe you could add like because the blockchain is essentially unlimited, the sky's the
Mhm,
limit. I was thinking if you owned all of the parts of the movie, all the scenes, you could get like the entire movie for free, or you could have like a royalty based system and you could own like a part ownership of the movie. Or I mean
mhm.
something like that. Like the sky's essentially the limit. Which is why like
Yeah,
GameStop, like how this whole theme of like the brand connection, it has the followers, it has the nostalgia. It could
mhm.
do anything in this space. The sky's the limit, and people are gonna follow. And they just gotta take their
Yeah,
time, be patient, and build it really good behind the scenes. And like it'll be ginormous. Like give it some time, be patient, but it'll happen.
mhm.
It's gonna happen. I feel it. Like it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna
Yeah, no,
happen.
and it's gonna be slow and steady, and there's gonna be like faults along the way, or like they'll try things, and people will try it and be like, "Hey, this is kind of trash," and then they'll move on to the next thing. Like
It
that'll
happens.
happen at some point or another. So I really feel like you can't like completely discount that, but yeah, like you said, in the long term, like that's what it's all about. And Jay brought up a great point. They said like G America could be another version of Amazon, but if they had like
Mm,
physical stores, and then yeah, maybe these physical stores you could also buy like digital, like, it's like you buying something physical and you're also getting the digital version of it. That'd be
mhm.
crazy. And you said there could be some large America stores as well as other partners or products inside, like a Sam's
Oh,
Club, and
physical
even
tournaments.
have small GameStop store inside them. Could even have physical tournaments inside them. That sounds pretty
Yeah.
awesome, Jay. Yeah. See that those are the kind of thoughts I like. I love that idea. Yeah, and that kind of builds off what I was saying before, where it would kind of tie everything together. It would obviously have to have digital aspects. They're like QR codes or simple stuff to like connect your wallet, and then maybe you even get like every time you visit, like, you could have an NFT as, like, your membership for there, and it
Mhm.
could be, like, a free membership, not that you
Like
even
a
need a
co-op.
membership. Yeah, just
Yeah.
showing each time you go, like, you would just, like, scan a QR code or just, like or I don't know exactly.
Well, Amazon has it. You could just walk right in and it recognizes
Mhm.
you're there. Like all these
That's creepy
some
though,
of the
right?
new Amazon
It's, like,
stores.
crazy.
It well, yeah, I mean, that's technology
It's,
for
like,
you.
scary, I don't know if I wanna do that. I don't want it to be that technological, you know? That'd be
Yeah.
crazy, but
Yeah, GameStop reward points. Dude, I saw this thing after I
mhm.
don't know if it was real or not. I read all the comments. It seemed pretty real. But after the Silicon Valley thing happened on Friday, I think it was Friday because I was at work. People started like rushing to Kohl's to use their Kohl's cash because they thought like it was gonna like
No.
get bankrupt.
Everything my bank run on Cole's cash, yeah.
Yeah,
No, that can't be real, that had to have been a meme.
dude. I don't
I
know,
mean,
man. It looked pretty legit.
honestly, it's scary that it's possible that that's true. You know what I mean? It's scary that the world's come to that. There are people out there that are, Before everything goes down, I
Yeah,
have to spend my Cole's cash.
yeah.
I
My
can't let that shit
Starbucks
go to
points. I
waste."
got to get my free sandwich.
Dude, yeah, craziness, man, funny.
Oh
But
man, that stuff's hilarious.
let's see,
Um,
there could be some large oh, no, I read that already. Then a way to add rewards points with digital gaming. Yeah, I think tying it all together with some kind of rewards, with the
mhm.
Power Rewards Pro members, that could tie into it in some and just really kind of binding everything together is just really what I feel like is coming next, and that's like the growth driver for GameStop and just as a whole.
Exactly.
But
Weaving
also,
it all together.
yeah, I think I am gonna wrap this up soon though, because I do got to take care of some other things tonight. But
Of
any
course.
other like last couple things you want to talk about, or just any
I guess
other
like a quick
general
little thing I'll
thoughts?
throw in there right now.
Hmm.
Kind of like the reward points is Gary Vaynerchuk's his company VFriends came
Hmm.
out with this Burn Island like type of deal about
Hmm.
how like I mean I put you onto the book games.
Yeah, yeah.
They kind of did a little separate though. I think it was anyone could apply, but
Hmm.
they have it so if you like you could quote unquote burn your NFTs
Hmm.
for a chance to win a bigger NFT in return. So it's like a lottery system. And
Gotcha.
that's just like, I mean, when we talk about like, if I heard gaming, or at least from like a legal standpoint, you think of like casinos, like Las
Hmm.
Vegas, Atlantic City. So this is kind of, as far as I know, one of the only casinos that is in the NFT space right now of
Hmm.
Gary Vaynerchuk's V Friends with the Burn Island. And that just came out a couple of weeks ago. I said
Hmm.
it on one of your live streams, if you remember.
Yeah, 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 no, I remember you had said it, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but now I do.
Yeah. Well,
I
because it
didn't have
just
to.
ended. It was
Mhm.
like a 2 week thing of it was pretty crazy. You could like burn your NFT, or this is the crazy part, is
Mhm.
you could handwrite a letter as many as you want and send it in, and that counts as a submission. So on Twitter, I saw people had like 200 handwritten submissions. They like, and the thing
Really?
was, you
That's
had to
interesting.
handwrite it, and I was
Mhm.
like, that's freaking like genius. Of they're like kind of tying in like the reward system of
Mhm.
you give me this
Physically,
and you
yeah.
get this back.
But what were they writing? Like,
It's just, well, you had to, like, write out, like, the address, your full name, and something like, "This is my submission to, like, Burn
Burn
Island."
Island.
It was
That's
a very quick
interesting.
thing, but it would take, like, 5 minutes per letter. So,
Mhm.
like, you had to, like, actually put effort into it. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you could, like, print out, like, a billion envelopes and send it in.
Yeah. I mean, that's
But,
still pretty dope though, and, like, I really like how Gary Vee does stuff and just he's different. Like, I know not everybody likes him, and, like, some people say he's like, "Oh, he's too much," or, like,
mm,
people are like, "Oh, he's, like, coked up." I'm like, "This man's not on
yeah,
coke, like,
very
relax."
energetic.
It's not like that. He's just crazy energy, and like I really think he's gonna buy the Jets one day. And like I like football a lot, so I think that'd be awesome. Because him as like he'd be the kind of guy. Like I don't know if you know this. You know who Mark Cuban is?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So
From Shark Tank.
when he was when he first bought fuck, I'm totally blanking out the
Like,
Dallas
the Jazz?
Mavericks.
Oh, the Mavericks, yeah.
Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks. He used to sit like courtside and be like, "What are you doing, ref?" Like, and he would be
Oh,
like
man.
a crazy fan, but he was like the owner of the team, and like it basically was when they were like not that good. So it made people like, "Yo, this is actually lit." Like the owner is
Yes,
like
man.
yelling at the, and he would get fined and everything, and he just eat all the fines
Yeah, he
just
don't
out
care.
of
He's a
like
billionaire, yeah.
trying to like, yeah. He was like, "Fuck it," like this team needs some action. Like, and then he
Dude.
just started making moves. So like, I don't know, I just
Exactly.
thought that
That's
was
kinda
funny.
like what
I
Ryan
could see
Cohn
Gary
did.
Vee
He came
doing
into
that.
GameStop and did that.
What is
Well,
it?
because like Mark Cuban on some of his videos, he says how, like, the stadium was dead, no energy,
Hmm.
like, the seats weren't selling, so he
Hmm.
was like, "I'm gonna buy the team and just renovate the whole thing," and that's
Yeah.
what Ryan Cohn did, or Cohen, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Ryan Cohen, yeah.
Ryan Cohen, yeah, to GameStop, he was like, "This place is dead. Let me come in and just fucking and uplift the
Mhm.
entire industry and the entire organization."
Yeah.
It's
No,
just
it's true.
crazy,
It
man.
he really turned everything around, and he completely wiped out all the old board members, and he was like, "Listen, I'm bringing my own guys in. I'm chairman. Like, get all these crappy executives out of here." But
Exactly.
yeah, we got
And that's
Ruben
kinda
here.
like what like Gary Vee
Mhm.
too is, or just any of these people, they're just so
Mhm.
energetic and so passionate about what they do. It's like you just
Mhm.
gotta bet on the jockey and just hope that, like,
Yeah, no,
luck is
that's a
in their
big part of it,
favor.
yeah.
You just gotta be patient, just wait.
Yeah, patience is key. You know that for sure.
Of course. Oh, of course, of course.
But yeah, I don't know if I could do a Morant's impression. I have seen Avem's request, and Morant talks so fast. I guess that would be the best way. No, I know,
I
but I don't
can't
wanna
even
do
do it, I don't know.
I don't wanna do, like I don't wanna disrespect him in any way because I don't think I could do a good impression. I could only, like doing good impressions found people, like, I kinda wanna, like, clown on, you know what I mean? And,
Mm,
Marantz is my boy, I can't be
too
clown on him.
respect. Too much
So I feel
respect.
like I if I try to do an impression right now, I'll try and think of it in the future. I'll get back to you on that, Abe, but
We'll
right now, I
practice.
don't have a good one, but Marantz spits facts. You should definitely watch his channel, like, for real, like, you should actually, watch his series, like, Connect the Dots, just some of that even.
Mhm,
And, like, he
okay.
just really some eye-opening stuff and just it's interesting to see how he, like, goes about, like, really just digging deep into things, and I'm like, "Oh, that's how you can really get down to shit. Because so much now it's like hard to like, understand things. There's
Mm.
like just so much noise everywhere. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
shout out to him. But yeah, you
yeah,
definitely got to check him out at some point.
of course. Well, that's what I love about the older generations. Like
Hmm.
we're only like 22, but these people have decades more experience on top of us. So by like growing our team and learning from them, it's just expanding
Hmm.
our minds and our knowledge base. And it's just like
Yeah,
everyone's working together to just be better and be better humans.
exactly, and that's kinda what I realized, like, my channel's all about, like, I guess without even realizing it in a sense, just over time, I'm like, I don't wanna, like, be like, "Oh, do this, do that, you're gonna get
Mm.
rich," like, I'm that's not what I'm here to do, like, I'm here to just be like, "Listen, this is how I see things, like, this is my thought on it, like, oh, I don't understand this, like, let me try and figure it out for you right now," like, and I just feel like that's so important now because everybody's just trying to be like, "I got the answers, I have the answers," these days, like, everyone's just trying
Mhm.
to do that, where I feel like it's the wave to just be like, okay, like let's figure it out. Like
Yeah.
let's just keep it real. Like for
Yeah.
example,
Say,
yesterday,
I don't know.
yeah, like
Tell
yesterday,
me.
I was like going on my live stream trying to go through like bank balance sheets and just understand the financial standing. And I'm like, listen, I'm not a genius about like reading these like balance sheets. And I'll say that on live. I was like, I'm trying to look up these terms, understand like what financial condition these banks are in and stuff like that. And it's just a learning process. But 22,
Yeah,
holy
that stuff's
moly, I feel
confusing,
old.
man.
Nah, Robin, you're chilling. You're young, bro. You're good. Don't worry.
Exactly. Long life left.
But yeah, no, I mean it's crazy, yeah, because I've just it's so I've always been intrigued with stocks since a young age. It all started for me
You
when
put
my
me onto
grandpa.
it.
Yes, sir.
I give
It's
you
crazy. I
the
I
props
remember
for
all you
all of
guys are
it.
like, "Why are you so obsessed with stocks?" Like, "What are
Yeah,
you
I know,
always looking
yeah.
at these numbers?"
Bitcoin in 2017. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin.
Yes, dude, I was way ahead of the wave. And if only I was smart and like actually made a lot of money in that run. I made a little bit of money because I was just like, "Okay," and I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
throwing some in. And then
Little noobs
it was
back
like
then.
it was literally like senior year. So I was like, "Yo, I'm cashing this bag out. We're going to prom weekend. Like,
Yeah,
let's
for
go."
real.
I was
Exactly. Rent the hotel.
yeah, I was literally like, yeah, I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm
Good
cashing this shit
times.
out.
I know.
So that was fun times. But it all started for me. My grandpa watching CNBC, and I was like, "What are all these numbers?" Like he just watches it every day. Like, how is this important to him? And he's like, "Yeah, I'm chilling." And he like was retired, and he worked on Wall Street. And I was like, "I gotta figure this out."
Uh-huh.
But I mean,
Smart
he
guy.
just did like, I don't know. He worked there straight out of high school. But he retired
Wow.
in like I think like 2010. No, I think even
Mm.
before that. I don't know. He's been retired for
Probably
the
after the
longest time.
crisis was probably like the financial crisis, 2008. He's probably like, "Oh, it's time for me to
No,
go."
I think he was even before that actually. I
Ooh,
think he went
clutch.
through dot-com bubble, but then
Ooh,
maybe like '04, '05, somewhere between I think the
in
crises is when he
between, yeah.
stopped working
That's
there.
smart.
But yeah, no, he worked there straight out of high school. Like he didn't even know what he wanted to do. So his dad just knew
Mm.
somebody and just got him a job like as like the
Damn.
the lowest level at that time, the guys running around with the books like back and forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
Go
used to
get
be
me some
him, like,
coffee, yeah.
when he was, like, 18, yeah, like, straight out of high school, he was like, "Alright,
Damn.
fuck it," like, and then he
Crazy
just
stuff.
stayed there, like, on Wall Street the whole time, kinda crazy.
Damn. Yeah, his life worked out good.
Yeah, and then, hey, here
And
I
then he
am.
taught you, passed it on to the next generation.
Yeah, he doesn't quite understand GameStop, but I haven't tried to explain it to him
Mhm.
too much because obviously it's just not his thing, like, he's just in,
No,
like,
yeah.
Pepsi and, like, dividend plays and,
Of
like
course, yeah, McDonald's,
yeah, yeah,
the
and
basics.
not and mostly now, I think as he's gotten older too, he's gotten more towards, like, fixed income, like, he
Of
doesn't have
course.
as
Oh, yeah, as
many.
you get older, yeah, yeah.
I just remember
More
when we were
bonds,
younger, he told me
stuff
he
like
owned,
that.
like, a fuck ton of Pepsi.
Wow.
And I don't even remember what the number was, but I remember he told me how many shares, and I looked up the price. I was like, "Oh," like what?
You would have been chilling, dude.
And then I looked at the dividends there. I was like, "Damn, he gets them.
Oh,
This is how he's
man.
chilling off dividends." Like,
Yeah, oh, yeah, dividends is great. I always go
yeah,
back and forth with that because I want, like,
mm,
the income stream, but you
mhm,
need, like, a couple 100,000 to actually, like, make, like, 10, 20,000 per year, and it's like,
mhm.
I don't have a couple 100,000 to go buy some AT&T stock. Or, like,
Yeah,
my
no,
big
no, it
thing is
makes sense.
REITs. I'd rather own, like, a REIT. Like,
Yeah,
Realty Income is one of my favorites.
for me, I look at it as like it depends where the company's at. Like GameStop, they're in the position of growth, so I don't think dividends are going to come like tomorrow type of
No,
deal.
no, no.
Maybe somewhere down the line when they're just really in strong financial standing,
Of
except
course.
or whatever it is, or just when the time is right, so to speak. I feel like if the company's growing, you want to see them more so invest in the growth. And if anything, maybe just buy back some shares or just maintain the cash position, especially now in like a high interest rate environment. Collect that interest, like keep that cash for when you see use to use it. Don't just use it for the sake of using it.
Mhm.
And Ryan Cohen and then I do have to wrap this up in a couple minutes. But
Yeah, yeah.
one thing I do want to say is a great tweet by Ryan Cohen. He basically said, I don't think this is exactly it word for word, but interest low interest rates when interest rates were at 0% in like 2021. He's like low interest rates are like easy sex. Great, but possibly fatal or something
Oh,
like that.
yes.
Like because any
Scary.
company that was just taking on debt, like, oh yeah, we gotta grow, we gotta go, we gotta grow, we gotta grow, we gotta grow. We're
Mhm.
investing in growth, we're investing in growth. Now it's like, wait a minute,
They're dropping
economy's
all the
slowing
employees.
down. Yeah, and it's like now you're in debt, like
Oh.
interest rates are going up, like
Yeah, Apple
so.
played that really smart.
Yeah, they have like an iron balance sheet from what I understand.
Yeah, Apple's a beast, man.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
And they
They're
almost went
just
the crazy thing is they
huge.
almost went bankrupt, like,
Hmm.
within, like, the first couple of years, if not the first, like,
Yeah,
decade.
and look where they're at now. It's
Crazy, man.
crazy.
That's what I'm
And
hoping with GameStop is, like, they almost went bankrupt, but they're
yeah,
back stronger than ever.
it does seem like that. And I don't know if you ever heard the stat that Amazon in like 2000, it peaked to trough like from its highest point during the dot-com bubble to like maybe not exactly its lowest, but generally it was like down 90% from its all-time highs. So if you had
I
bought
heard
at its
about
all-time
that.
highs there, you thought you were like, oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm down 90% on my money.
Mm,
But if you held
buy
that
more.
shit, like, 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, not even till now, you just held 10 years, you would've been sitting pretty, so, I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
it's just about knowing what you have and, like, just understanding where it can go and, like, the
Exactly.
people running it.
Knowing what you have. Like,
But
what Warren Buffett says is, "I'd rather buy a
mhm.
great company at a fair price instead of a good company at a cheap price," or something like that.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah, exactly, I'd rather buy, like I don't know exactly the
You'd
quote,
rather
but I know
buy
what
the
you're talking about.
premium product instead of, like,
Yeah,
wasting your money on some cheap stuff
and
that
just trying
easy
to
breaks.
get, like, a quick finesse,
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of thing, and
Buy
that's
and
obviously
hold
not
and
how Warren Buffett's saying it, but
exactly, yeah. He's a legend. Yeah,
but, yeah.
alright.
I think, yeah, that's a pretty good spot to wrap it up. I mean, I feel like this was a great conversation. It was a pleasure to have you on, and I just think
Of
bouncing
course.
ideas, this is the way to go.
Yeah, time went by fast. It was a good time.
Yeah,
I'm
dude, it's
excited
crazy. This
to
is already an hour. It's
can I
already
upload
like
this on
8
my
o'clock.
channel too?
What is it?
Can I upload this video on my channel?
I think you can, but I don't know. I think if you do, you might get like the copyright strike. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
We'll see
Just
what
'cause it's
happens.
already on mine.
I'll
But like
look
you
up
could probably
the
like
legal parts of all that.
yeah, or, yeah, I
Well,
don't
I
know.
could always
I
just
don't
take
care.
my part out, you know?
Whatever you want to do, man. I would
We'll see.
totally don't care. And if you want to make like shorts of it or something, or you do like clips in
Yeah, it'd be
some way,
cool.
you could probably
Definitely.
make that happen. Yeah.
Alright, cool, cool. Alright,
All
we'll
right.
wrap it up. Noah, take it away.
Yeah,
Wrap
but
it up.
that's all it. Thanks for joining a special live stream, podcast type of thing. Gonna try and do more of these here and there, just bouncing ideas, just kind of discussing things for people to watch back. Hopefully, one day we'll look back in the future and be like, damn, some of the stuff we were talking about really kind of came to fruition over time. And again, just documenting. And I know you're a big person on that in terms of just talking about it. It's all about just documenting the journey and just the journey itself. But thanks for
Mhm. Of
being part of Tetron's journey, and I hope everyone out there has a good night.
course. Good night, guys.